What's up, everybody? Figured I'd do a quick update on my Tanganyika fish. And I have 3 different species now. In this tank right here, we have a 6.6 gallon bookshelf aquarium. No light, just a filter, no heater. Even though I will be getting a heater for this tank and a lid eventually. But in here we have Neolamprologus brevis. We have 5 fish, and as far as I know, we have 2 males, which you can see right there in the middle of the frame. And then I have 3 juveniles in here. Hopefully, at least one is a female, so that I can get a pair of these fish going in this tank. This tank was scaped intentionally with the behaviors of the brevis in mind. The brevis aren't like the other shell dwellers where they just need a whole bunch of shells. The male and a female brevis, once paired up, will cohabitate in one shell. Like they'll share one shell instead of one living in this shell, one living in this shell, and they only come together to breed. They'll live in the same shell together because where they're found, there isn't just the big shell collections that you see when you look up like videos or pictures of the shell dwellers in the wild. These will be more spaced out, and so I tried to imitate that with less shells that are more spaced out around the tank. It says in the wild they only defend about 6 inches of territory. So this is a 30-inch long tank. I think it's about 6 inches wide, 7 inches tall. So right now it works. I've seen some aggression from the males, which is expected. Hopefully once they pair up, they'll like choose to go on different sides of the tank, and maybe I can get away with having 2 pairs. If not, I'll be happy just to have 1 pair in here. But you can see since this tank is in the windowsill, it's bound to have algae. One thing I plan on doing to limit the algae is 1, more plants, and 2 or 3 things. Once the valve and stuff grows, that'll kind of be a curtain along the back to kind of, diffuse some of the light that's coming in. I also want to get some window screen. I don't know if I want to do dark tint or just like the frosted one. And I want to put that along the back side of the tank, so less light is coming in, but it'll still be lit. And another thing I want to do is maybe add like 3 autosynclus in here. I think there's enough algae, there'll be enough room for them to get away from the shell dwellers. And if the shell dwellers show themselves to be a problem, I have other tanks that I can move the autos in. And I'll just be the algae eater and kind of go in with a toothbrush or credit card, razor blade, whatever your method of scraping algae is. Here you can see the dominant male is on the right, the less dominant male is on the left. Which is actually strange to me, is that the less dominant male spends more time out and about and not in his shell, whereas the dominant male, he's like always in his shell or very close to it. Here we have another, there you go, just saw one of those juvenile ones go in. We got another one back there. I think he got the most least ideal shell. And then there's another one that lives right there in the shell up on that little hill. But as far as first impressions go for the brevis, I think they're only interesting when you have more than like a group of them. Because for a while I only had these 2 males in here, and you wouldn't really see anything. You would just see them, the most action you would see is them sparring, which is no real super aggression. I haven't seen any nipped fins or messed up scales or anything of the sort. So yeah, that's about all I got to say about the brevis tank. So I'll show you my my transcriptus. Okay, here we have the Julidochromis transcriptus tank. A couple changes have been made since the last time I really did a full overview of this tank. I added a power head because I noticed the fish kind of sitting in the flow. And if you see the water is kind of cloudy, I'm battling an algae bloom. It's kind of a newer tank, a decent amount of fish in there. So that's just what's going to come with it. But as you can see, at first I thought this power head was going to be too strong, but it seems like the fish are actually enjoying it. They're spending less time just in the rocks and sitting actually out into the flow. Let's see, I'm gonna throw some food in there for you. I haven't noticed any pairing up yet. I don't know what size they will start pairing. I haven't noticed any myself. I'm really looking forward to that. I have 10 in here. I don't believe I've lost any. This is a 20-gallon long, just a lot of Sirius stone. I know when I was setting this tank up, I said I wasn't going to add plants, but I just added Anubias from another tank that I took down, and I just needed somewhere to put it and figured it wouldn't look bad in here. So that's where that ended up. But let me throw some food in. See if we can get all 10 of them to come out. Let's see. See if we can get all 10 out. And I've been enjoying these fish also. You can see there's a good amount of flow in this tank. You see all the food circulating around. I probably just put too much food in there, but yeah, it's still getting used to the amount that I need to feed this tank. I kind of been trying to do a lot of small feedings throughout the day to put size on them. They're getting like a 20% water change once a week. So I'm really trying to keep up on maintenance and keep these fish like growing at a steady pace. And it doesn't seem like any are getting out-competed for food. As you see, they don't really struggle in the flow. If they don't want to be in the flow, they can go into the rocks. And that's a real pretty one right there. It may be the biggest one in the tank right now, but it's a real pretty one. Again, I don't know how much like what my sex ratio is in here. I don't know how to sex these fish. I'm just hoping one day I look in here and see, oh, those two fish are spending a lot of time together. And then I'm hoping a couple weeks after that I see, oh, there's little babies in there. So that's been my process. That's what I've been kind of looking forward to with this tank. This is another tank that probably I'm going to try to either get a bristle nose to deal with some of the algae on the rocks, or I'm going to do more autos. Just the autos may be a little bit better for this since there's no wood in this tank, but I'm fairly sure that autos will benefit from having like at least one piece of wood to go and munch on. But there's no limit of algae. I tried to raise the light up just so there's not as much like algae growing on the rocks, so that bacteria bloom that has the water kind of cloudy isn't as cloudy. But who knows? I haven't had this tank set up for too long. Still a fairly new tank, so I can't be too harsh on my expectations out of it. But I'm really enjoying it. Let's see if I get a head count. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 out of 10 are out and about. Hopefully that doesn't mean that there's only 8 fish in there. But again, there is a lot of cracks and crevices in this tank, so I'm fairly confident all 10 are still alive. And you can see the flow. The less dominant fish doesn't have to come out and compete with everybody to eat, because the flakes, if I feed flakes, it's going to make its way down into the rocks and everything else. But as far as equipment on this tank, I just have Petco Planet Aquarium light, clip-on, power head. That I think they could do it a little less flow, but I don't think this amount of flow is really hurting them too much. If I ever look in here and see fish are like tired or looking weak, then yeah, I'll go through and change it. But right now it seems like they're all enjoying it and haven't had any losses, like I said, so something is working. Well, yeah, and I just have a regular old, I think that's a fluval hang on back. So yeah, can't complain about that. It was real. I'm noticing with the Lake Tanganyikan fish, they're really just set the tank up and as natural habitat as possible and let them grow up, and you'll eventually get fry. So right now I'm just waiting on the eventually get fry part. But let me go ahead and show you my last Tanganyikan tank before I gotta go. All right, so this is my Neolamprologus multifasciatus tank, otherwise known as Multis. They're like probably the most popular shell dwelling cichlid. This is just 6.6 gallon tank. It's only been set up a couple days ago, even though I've had these kind of if you watched my last story, you knew how if you watched my last video, you'll know how I acquired these fish. But again, it's like a 6.6 gallon tank, and I believe I have 8 in there, anywhere from 8 to 10, all different sizes. What this looks to may possibly be a pair back here. You see, this tank got algae on it too. That may possibly be a pair. There's 2 large ones that kind of took over the middle of the tank. But this is another fish that I just set the tank up and kind of leaving them alone, letting them do what they want to do. I noticed, I thought it was just like a myth that the shell dwellers, or not really a myth, but I thought it was exaggerated how much the shell dwellers dig. But this is only sand from maybe 24 to 48 hours that they've dug up and moved all around the tank like that. And to me, you know, normally my tanks are kind of like some sort of little aquascape, like these tanks above me, some type of aquascape in there. Whereas with this, it was just like put a couple rocks in there to break territory, sight lines, and then just throw all the leftover shells you have in this tank and let them do what they do. And surprisingly, this is the one tank that I got a compliment on from my girlfriend. So I guess she likes this. But yeah, there you go. There's a decent sized adult there. I really like the real blue eyes you get on these. I'm not running a lot of equipment on this tank. This is the light that I believe came with this Magitarium tank, 6.6 gallon. It came with, I think this is everything that came in the kit. That filter, that light, and then I just threw a heater in there. But yeah, you can see there's multiple little sizes in there. I don't believe I've had a spawn yet, but I'm waiting on it. I think I'll know. And again, I have another holding tank of these with about 18 to 20, 1 inch to 1.5 inch that are for sale. So if you're looking for multis, you can contact me. I mean, I don't know how to ship fish, so maybe the first couple people, if you just pay shipping, you can get the fish for free. Because that'll be a good skill for me to learn. I think that may actually be a pair back there. So maybe I have some type of success. But you can see, normally everybody just uses those type of escargot shells, the one that's right there in the middle with the green algae on it. Whereas me, I went to Hobby Lobby and just bought a bag of shells and basically used everything that had an opening. And I feel like a lot of the bigger shells they probably won't really use unless it's for cover. I don't think they'll really breed in those, but I think they work out good as sightline breaks and all that nice stuff. I probably will order more escargot shells because unlike the brevis that I was talking about in this video, the multis come from those areas in Lake Tanganyika where there's like yards of just shells that may be like 2-3 feet deep of just shells. So the more shells, the better. The more shells, the more multis you'll get. And I don't know how much this 6.6 gallon is going to be able to hold as far as a colony at like a stable amount without the water parameters just crashing one day. So I want to try to be cognizant of that and keep y'all posted on my Lake Tanganyika journey. There's one more Lake Tanganyika fish that I want to get, and that is the Neolamprologus calypterus. Well, I'll say 3 more. Neolamprologus calypterus, the Cotopunctaculus, and the Leilupi. I would like to do a big community tank with those, but again, I ain't rich yet. But if any of you aquarium brands see this video and would like to help me out, send a sponsorship, I'll leave my email in the description. You can contact me. I'd love to push a product that's actually worth pushing. Please don't send me no junk that I'm going to have to try to act like I like. I ain't even going to try to act like I like it. I will be honest. That's what you should want from somebody you team up with, to be honest with you. If you're delivering a good or bad product. But that's about it. All I got for y'all. Just a quick video of my Lake Tanganyika fish. Don't know what the next thing that's going to be happening on this tank. I know or at least in this bedroom fish room. I know last night I fell into the trap of looking up saltwater fish. I've never done saltwater before. I don't know what made me really want to start doing saltwater, but it's something I'm doing some research on. Nothing I'm going to jump into, since almost everything in saltwater is way more expensive than freshwater. So that'll be a slow burn progress. But needless to say, I'm enjoying the Lake Tanganyika fish. I hope y'all have a good one. Thank y'all for watching. Caleb Alexander out. Let me know what y'all got going on in y'all fish room. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all have a good one.